This one's for the ladies, still under the duvet, waking up with CKP. Yo, CK, get him the rhythm. Listen to the rhythm, Johannesburg, South Africa. We are at war. What a rhythm, Chili Black. CK's new exclusive.
I want to do this. I want to do some of this. Why not?
Zoom, zoom.
Look.
Welcome.
Hey.
We are now live here on the virtual couch with HPQ and Mr. Steve Doctor alongside you know who? Yeah, the one and only C to the K to the P. Pow! The mayor is in the building. Do it like this and we do it like that. We do it for the bucket because upon the block. CK the wisdom, the return flavor. A CK with a little coach shot. I make my dance for the things I want. I dedicate the start to each and every one. Whether you're white, black, West Indian. That's the way, but yeah.
CKP in the building! Blah, 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 blah.
On the virtual couch with House Party Queen.
HP, take me away. I'm going for a wee-wee. I said it. I've been holding it for so long, so I got a cramp in my legs earlier on. I'm going for a wee-wee.
Good to see you, my darling, and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me live on the virtual couch.
And thank you for all the big ups during your shows. I've been watching your live shows all week, and honestly, you're killing it for me.
Thank you very much, my dear. I'm here to try and I aim to please. Well, try anyway.
Well, the name of my show suggests it's inspirational artists, and the reason why I chose your dear self is because, like I said, to me, you're as well as the other people I've had here, you are inspirational also, in terms of the fact that the sheer amount of years that you've actually been on the scene, the achievements that you've got now to date, and also just your general vibe and energy when we watch you on camera. You know, you're not like the normal DJ where you see they're just playing their music and their head just might be up and all you see is the back of their screen with whatever they've got on it. But you're...
Hey, do you know what I say? Do you know what I say? Those kind of DJs, I call them mannequin DJs. Yeah? Stand up like so.
Yeah.
You won't get no mannequins with me. I'm raving, I'm energizing. I'm first and foremost a raver more than anything else. So that's why you see me with the kind of energy that I give when I perform in front of the camera. Or out live.
Okay, and that comes from your raving days in terms of how energetic you was then and you decided to emulate that once you're now DJing?
Well, I think it's something that's just always been within me. No matter what I'm doing, I'm just this energy guy anyway. You know, some people say, boy, your battery's can't done. I'm like, no. Duracell or not.
I used to explain that to people about myself as well, that I'm like a Duracell bunny, you know, bunny where you put some Duracell batteries in it and I just keep going, and once they die, I'm just like this. I flake out then, and then I have to start again tomorrow.
I continue. My battery's not dead. I continue.
But, you know, and the worst thing is that we've got quite a few connections as well. I mean, obviously there's Shuey, you know Shuey very well.
I met Shuey a few years ago, to be fair. I mean, I knew of him, but I didn't know him. But I met him a few years ago when we went when we were in St. Lucia together. And we found out we had a few things in common and a lot of people that we knew from all over London in common, so to speak.
And our paths have crossed so many times as well. And this is going back to probably the Junglist days, because my brother was a top Junglist MC. And we've actually taken a picture together. And I remember just saying, you know, Mom on TV was like, why don't you get CKP? And I'm like, who's CKP? Who is he? Who's he?
It's actually nice to hear people say that sometimes. Who's CKP? It's sometimes nice to be anonymous. Well, it's very rare that I go anywhere and someone has not heard of CKP. So, yeah.
Well, pretty much after I said your name and everyone's like, what, you don't know CKP? And I just felt really stupid afterwards. So I just went on like a fiend. It was like looking for you. And then I spoke to my brother. He's like, hey, sis, you know him. You took a picture with him. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know this guy.
That's probably when I didn't have any hair, when I was kind of greyless.
Well, I kind of knew you from the jungle scene.
That's
back
correct.
to 95 and jungle. Yep. So tell us about your connections with back to 95 and your junglist days. I know you predominantly in-house now, you know, not so much those days. So tell us about...
Okay, yeah. So I started out in jungle as a jungle MC. I started out in the early 90s. But jungle was very difficult to get into if you didn't have the right acumen and skill. But still, I had my flavour. I started out with MC Skibbity, MC Neat, DT. We used to go to a place in Charing Cross Road back in the day. There was probably about 100 MCs there. And, you know, the names that I've just mentioned, we were the lucky few out of the 100 which were any good. So those few names that I mentioned, we eventually made it out of the 100. So after doing radio and so forth and doing tapes of just jungle music with guys like my friend Maddox and DJ Legal, I still wasn't getting where I wanted to be. And so I thought, right, okay, so garage was coming along. Garage was like in the room 2. So you'd have jungle was in room 1 and garage was in room 2. And I said, you know, let me go and try my vibes and my styles at garage. Because I'll be in the crowd at jungle and I'll be MCing away to myself on the dance floor while the MCs are up there MCing, and I'll be MCing to myself on the dance floor. And I'll have a crowd of people around me going, yo, what are you doing? You should be up there, not down there. And I'm like, I'm just vibing. So but anyway, like I said, jungle was very difficult to get into. So then I started moving onto garage. And then that's where I think I found my calling, because I brought that kind of jungle ragga element into the garage scene.
Where do you think it moved from? Because you said something real there. You said jungle was room 1, garage was room 2. Every time I used to go in there, my friends would be like, oh, we're in the garage. I'm like, what's this garage? Because I never liked garage. I wasn't a garage girl. I still don't like it that much. There's a few popular tunes that I will dance and listen to, but I'm not a garage girl. I'm a junglist till I die.
Yeah, junglist till you die. I hear that.
Till I die. And then I love my house. So, you know, when we used to go to raves, it was junglist was the main room and then garage.
Yes. And garage.
Then I started to go out as the years went on. It was garage was the main room, and jungle was being moved into the second room. Now I know to the violence on the scene. There's a lot of drugs that was then coming onto the scene, and there was a lot of violence that was being associated with the scene also. So it was changing, and garage was this kind of happy music that everyone was just happy. It was like the happy house days. Like,
you know what? What I think it was, we see with garage, I think garage was more for the girls. So anywhere the girls them there, the man them a follow. Yeah? Garage was more like a girly thing, and you know, people used to dress up, and you know, it was a girls thing. You know what I mean? Girls would be waving and singing, and you know, when the girls them singing and dancing, the man them like, yo! And that's always good on. Yo, come, let's go over there because there's only for girls and we can get involved. So, you know, that's why I think garage was one of the things where it was mainly a girls thing. So a lot of people cottoned onto it because girls were there first, and then the guys followed. And then it started to get commercial.
It did. It got very commercial.
Everywhere, you know, adverts, you know, people started going on to Top of the Pops, you know, TV shows that garage music was being played, you know?
And that's what kind of spoilt the scene, really, also for garage.
I think to a certain degree. It got too popular as regards to popular music.
Okay, so let's go back a bit now in terms of you DJing. When did you first start to DJ?
I've always been.
Were you on the sound system circuit like everybody else seems to be?
Okay, so I started. You might as well say I've always DJ'd. I've had decks and stuff. Yeah. But I would say, even back in days of Iron Napa, I had decks. I'd jump on the decks. Even when the DJ was playing in an after party, I'd always want to let me have a go. I could DJ. Might be able to mix 1 or 2 tunes, and then I'll jump back on the mic because I felt more comfortable on the mic. But I always had something for DJing. But if you'd have told me 20 years ago that I'll be DJing now, and I said, yeah, you're having a laugh, mate. I always wanted to be that guy on the mic, up front, on the stage, entertaining the crowd. That was always me.
So he was predominantly a mic man at first.
Predominantly a mic man. Regardless. That was my stage. You give me a stage and a microphone, and you know about CKP. You know, I was the energy guy, the vibes guy. You know, like, give you sayings like, Oli, 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 and when I say, you say, and give me a sign if you want to rewind. Just a few of the things that I created. Even the dance that everyone used to do like this, I started that.
Was that you?
To garage music.
Yeah, I remember it.
Called the composer. Because what you see a composer do when he's composing the orchestra. I'll be on the stage composing the crowd. So that'll be me.
Start doing it.
Composer. Hashtag true story. I mean, start that.
So you started up that actual dance?
I started that, yeah. And you see people in the crowd doing that, and before you know it, it was a big dance. But people might not know the name of it, but I'm telling you the name of it. The composer.
I'm going to remember that now. So the Back to 95 crew. So you were involved with those guys, Iron Appa.
I was one of the first to be in Iron Appa, one of the first 10 to be in Iron Appa that started Iron Appa. We went out there in 97, 98, 10 of us. And, you know, we created a buzz out there so much so that, you know, the club owners and the bar owners said, you guys got to come in next year and bring some promotions. Before you know it, we brought Sun City, Pure Silk. Pure Silk was the first, Sun City. And then you had all the other promotions that followed it. One Night Stands. There's so many. All the garage promoters came out there after that. And Iron Apple was born. So I'm blessed to know that I was one of the first to start, you know, to be there right at the beginning.
What made you guys pick Iron Appa? Because
Well,
it came
that-
to a prolific, iconic name, isn't it? Like Beeford was House and Iron Apple was Garage.
It started with a guy called DJ S. He went there to get married. He played the DJ set while he was getting married.
Yeah.
And they liked the style. So then the following year, he booked a couple of us because he was Pure Silk. There was a garage promotion called Pure Silk. He was part of Pure Silk. He got married out there the year before. And then he played out there. And then the following year, he took a few of us out there and Iron Apple started. And that was it. The home of UK garage away from London.
Oh, it was huge. And it
was humongous. It's
Iron
humongous.
Appa. It really, really was. Okay, so why do you think Back to 95 became so successful, do you think?
I think because they just kept it real. Big up to Michael, big up to Sherpa and all the team that just kept the vibes real. Like, you know, Back to 95, underground flavour. Not so much of the popular stuff, but, you know, it was for the older crowd that, you know, that raved back in the day when things were cool and things were nice and things were just right. Things were just peaking before it took a little turn, so to speak. And they've always kept up.
But Back to 95 are still pretty much successful. I mean, I know they took a hiatus after the scene kind of closed down and went a different way, but they still come up again with these specials. And I know that they have a massive tent at the 51st State Festival. You know, the Back to 95 tent is probably the most packed tent on there.
It is the most packed out tent. And I've put a few videos up in the last couple of weeks of actually me being in the state, in the tent, mashing up the tent with about 5,000 people in the tent, absolutely packed. Out of the 51st State Festival, that's the most rammest tent there is.
It is, and I actually love it. I had some videos I had there as well, but I kind of lost those ones, but you reminded me to come
I'm going to post one up with Judy Love in the crowd, absolutely going nuts in the VIP, and she's absolutely loving it. I'll post it up after this. You'll see her in there. But yeah, 51st State is also another event which is absolutely big, but the Back to 95 is definitely one that everyone looks up to, for sure.
And I mean, for those that are listening and watching, if you don't know about 51st State, it's a huge house festival that's at Trent Park in London. And it's been going on for, I think, the last 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
5 years. I've been going to the last 3, and it is one of the most... If you love house, you kind of need to go to Trent Park.
It's not only house there. I mean, they've got like a reggae and tent as well.
You know, different tents, but it's predominantly about house music.
Absolutely.
The main stage is Groove Odyssey, could be Vega, Carrie Chandler, or any one of those main acts that come up. But I love it there, and it's a shame that it was cancelled this year. Hopefully, last year. Hopefully, this year we can get back on.
We can get back to raving. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you spoke about that you were a big part of the sound system scene. And
yes.
Did you ever play at Carnival or go to Notting Hill Carnival because you were from the area as well?
Yes, I'm from West London. I live about 15 minutes away from Ladbroke Grove. One of my sisters actually lived on the line, All Saints Road. So when I was a youth, used to go there, used to go to her flat and just look out the window and just watch the line and you just eat the Carnival flavour. And oh my God, it was absolutely phenomenal to actually be right in the centre of Carnival. You know, the smells, the sounds, the sights. You know, it's a sight to behold if you've never been to Carnival, for those watching. If you've never been, it's something that you really need to experience in your life, at least once.
And what do you think about it now? I mean,
okay, so me, myself, Carnival, I haven't been to Carnival, let's say, for the last, probably about 10 years. Possibly because I can just about hear it from my house. I can smell Carnival from my house. But for me, Carnival doesn't offer me what it did when I used to go previous to 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where you could be dancing down the float right up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, right away from Laverick Grove down to Latimer, from Latimer down to Scrubs Lane, following it up to Harrow Road and then back round again. Those were the days for me. And when the police started telling us and the government and the authorities started to say, you've got to lock off at 7 o'clock, I was like, you know what? Yeah, all right. You don't lock off at 7 o'clock. I'm done with carnival. I'll just wait till the after parties afterwards and those kind of things, but I won't bother going in. And that was it for me. So carnival can't offer me what it used to back then. Maybe because I was a child then, I was a teenager then, I was young then, you know? But it just hasn't got that appeal for me anymore. Even though I'm an MC and how much people say, CK, come down and MC on the stage and come down. Don't get me wrong, I did a couple of times. I did one with Rudy Ranks on the bus with, what's his name? I forgot his name. When it comes back to me, I'll say it. But I did a couple of times, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not your biggest interest at the moment.
It's not my biggest interest anymore, no.
No, but what is your biggest interest at the moment? And so you were recently voted, what, number 2 in the top...
Number 2. I was voted number 2 in the Chicago and Global DJing chart. Out of the top 25 DJs in the world, I was voted in at number 2.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm elated. Almost like I couldn't believe that I'd actually managed to get to number 2. You know, at the turning of the year, I was at number 7. So that was in year 2020. I was voted at number 7, and they'd done another vote, which I knew about because I didn't know about that one in 2020. Someone from Chicago phoned me up and said, CK, have you seen the chart? I'm like, what chart? He goes, well, you voted in at number 7. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I thought that was with the song that I'd done with Momo TV, but it wasn't. So he sent me the link. I looked at the link and I saw the names. I went, what? For DJ? I'm like, wow. So I said, okay, all the hard work that I've been doing over the last 5 years on these live feeds has obviously paid off. So then at the beginning of January, they done another one. I said, oh, need everyone to vote. And everyone voted for me. And 2-3 weeks ago, I come in at number 2, just behind Black Coffee. Crazy.
I know, and above Louis Vega as well. So
Louis Vega, Mr. Chandler.
I don't think Chandler was in that top 25. I didn't see his name there.
It may be in the top 100. I mean, Mike Dunn. There's so many names in there. I can't even begin to call out the names. But for me to be above them, what that showed me is that what I've been doing is paying off, meaning my DJing work and my entertainment work on these live streams is really resonating with the people that are out there. And they're really feeling my energy. Just like they would feel my energy when I'm MCing on a live gig, in a festival, or in a rave, or in a dance. They're feeling my energies when I'm DJing and entertaining when I'm live on screen. And I thank them wholeheartedly for putting me at number 2. But guys, you know CK's got to be number 1, really, isn't it? Because no one does what I do. Although they say that I'm number 1 in their eyes, but yeah.
I could just watch you for your energy. Plus, you play some great tracks. You see that is it Linda Harris tune? Linda Collier. You need to send that to me, you know. I think you didn't understand my text message when I sent that to you. I meant to say, I need that tune. You need to send
no worries. We've just mastered it, so I will send you a copy after we've had this interview. I'll send it to you.
Honestly, and if those of you who haven't tuned into CKP yet, please do so. Tune into his live shows. They are amazing. His energy. You can just watch him for his energy, let alone the tunes that he comes out with afterwards. But you also do some collaborations. I think did you do a live show with Matt Jam? Was it Matt Jam Lamont? You did?
Yes, I did a collaboration with Matt Jam Lamont, who's one of the pioneers of UK garage, house and garage in the UK, and that was for Back to 95 because the festival had been cancelled that year, last year. We decided to do it online, so he done his bit at his house, I done my bit at my house, and then we collaborated it together and we put it out there. And, you know, that's my DJ. That's one of my DJs, you know, that I enjoyed working with, Matt Jam Lamont, an old school legend. Very much so.
And you say you class yourself as an entertainer first and not a DJ. Why is that?
Because I think, maybe because of what I can do, meaning, first and foremost, an MC. So I can go into that arena and entertain a crowd as the MC would, hype up any sort of crowd. And then when I'm DJing, I'm DJing and entertaining the crowd as well. So I'll just class myself as an entertainer. Don't pigeonhole me or put me in one class or another. Just call me an entertainer because I entertain, and that's what I do. That's what I want to do is entertain, give people good vibes and good energy. That's what I'm about.
Yeah, and I saw that because I saw that you said it's almost like your mission statement is it bring us music? Hold on one second. Music brings us together, and the energy and the vibes and the whole of the house community, or something like that. I've got written.
Put it this way. This is how I look at raving and dances and stuff like that. A dance 100%. Why do you say that, CK? Because the MC is 25%, the DJ is 25%, but the crowd you're entertaining, that's 50%. And without one of those elements, a dance can't be 100% in any aspect. So those three elements have got to be together. But those three elements are core to a dance being 100%. And the crowd is 50% of what's happening. They've got to feel as if they're part of what's going on. Because they are part of what's going on. They're the main stable of what's going on.
Yeah, and you're right. And for people like myself, I like to watch the energy. It's not just the music, but it's the energy of the person who's playing the music also that attracts me to the track. Someone who's got their head down playing music versus someone that's interacting and dancing and being generally vibesy in the crowd is going to attract me more so than the person who's got their head down just playing some one dry tune. What I've learned
during this pandemic, or even before this pandemic. What I've noticed is since doing live feeds 5 years ago, because I started 5 years ago, not just through lockdown. I was doing a long time before lockdown, but what you would notice is you can flick through and then you'll see someone standing still. That's why I come up with that thing about a mannequin. You can flick through 100 DJs and they will just be standing like that, or just going like that. That can't hold me. I've got to be doing what I'm doing, so that it's not because when you're playing and entertaining, as we are in this pandemic, it's not about what you hear. It's not even about what you see. It's about what you feel through the screen that person who is entertaining you gives you. It's all about feeling.
And that's why I have particular problems with watching Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube feeds. Because some of the DJs on there are just literally playing music. This is why I love Zoom parties as opposed to those kind of feeds, Facebook and Instagram, because they're there just playing the music. Their whole setup looks lively. They've got the background feeds going on. They're
not leading the way.
But they're not vibes in me. The music might be vibes, but they're themselves not vibes in me. And so I've listened to it and I'm thinking, maybe I'll go back another time. I listen to yourself.
Maybe I won't go back at all.
I've got to find it now, It's one of those kind of scenarios for me. And I think that's what you've got with a lot of people out there. And from what I've read in the comments when I'm watching you, because it's the comments that I read afterwards, it's so energetic and people are always dancing, there's big smiles. And it's not just about the music, which is what I'm saying, it's really, really important.
Alison, as far as I'm concerned, when I'm entertaining in any aspect, whether I'm MCing or DJing, it's all about giving that person the feeling. You've got to lead by example. Meaning, if they've seen you vibes in and dancing to your tunes and energizing to your tunes, they can't but help but follow you. If you're standing up dead like a mannequin, nobody's gonna follow the mannequin.
No.
Like in a shop window. They're not following you. A mannequin stand up like this.
I'll say it's all about a performance. You're
You
actually perform in front of the camera. You're performing.
Just like I would do if I was out on stage. I'm performing.
And you do that as well, Shuey, as well, when I see you on Zoom and you're in front of the camera. You're not a person that just stands still. You're a mic man. You're entertaining the crowd and you're conscious that you're on camera too. And so you perform for the camera. And people like watching that. A bit like, one of the other DJs, is it Wayne Irie? I like him because he's in front of the camera and he's in your face, So a good presence.
Do you know what? Sometimes I don't even look at it like I'm on camera. I forget about the camera. I'm just being me. I can't be anything else. That's just me. That's just my vibes. You ask Shuey, when we're in St. Lucia or we was on the boat, we're just doing what we do naturally. It's a natural thing. It's organic, what we do. Not everybody's got that organic feeling. No, you can't teach someone that. It's natural.
CK, the one on the beach party, that was the one that done it for me, man.
Okay, so when we came into the beat, me,
Yeah, you got to come and take over the place.
Yeah, well, listen, we come and did our thing. The tech was jamming, but then when we came and we got on the mic and all that.
You took it from there up there. You know what I mean? Like I said,
Shiri,
the party then, yeah?
Shiri, that was one of the highlights. But the highlight for me on that holiday in St. Lucia is when we took over the club on the Strip.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You know, St. Lucia doesn't have no house and garage. No. You know, it's bashment, soul, R&B, rare group, reggaeton. And we spoke to the club owner, me and Antonio Pascal.
That's right, man. Big up Antonio Pascal, man.
Listen, we want to take over this club for one night and play this kind of music. By the end of the night, when we had done our thing, the whole Strip was outside this club because they had heard they're hearing some different type of music. It wasn't bashment, it wasn't reggae, it wasn't soul, it wasn't calypso, soca. It was this house music, Afro, and the whole music. It was crazy. The outside that club was crazy, and we pulled it off in about 4 days or so. And that's something that I will never forget in St. Lucia because that's never happened before in St. Lucia.
Ali, I've got to tell you, the beach party, that's got to be the best beach party I've been to.
I think it's elite. I'm not there, I don't want to know. No,
it was elite. I'm going to have to big them up. Elite Promotions. Elite.
You know, Rick Clark and Glendale. Big up.
Yeah, they had a beach party. We got through a few bottles that day, let me tell you. More than a few bottles that day.
You know, the best thing about that was, we wasn't even booked to...
I know, you weren't supposed to do nothing there, but they just did their thing, and let me tell you something, they just tore the place apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we blew people's minds, because they weren't expecting that.
Because that doesn't happen in St. Lucia.
No, it doesn't.
That kind of music don't happen in St. Lucia. That just brought it to...
I think what we did, we opened people's eyes to, you know, something a little bit different, something with a little bit more vibes and energy, and it could be incorporated into the next event, which it did. But COVID come along, and you mash it up. So we're still here.
So I had to jump in here. HP, take it away.
Carry away.
I'm really conscious of time and the fact that we've got a hard stop at 4 p.m. today, and we've still got Momo TV to bring on. So some of my last questions is what I'm going to do, CK. When I bring Momo on, I'm going to keep you on as well, if you don't mind.
Okay, cool. No worries.
I can ask you a few more questions. Otherwise, I'll end up you short. But very quickly, why are you called the mayor?
The mayor came about because one year I drove to Greece. Took me 2 days to drive there. And when I got there, I ended up spending probably about 7 months there. And so you get to know everyone. You get to know the lifestyle, the structure, even speaking Greek. And then, you know, people would come over for holidays. So the summer season would start. I got there just before the summer season. The summer season started in May. So during the summer season, people would say, I needed a job. Go and see CK. He knows all the club owners. He knows all the bar owners. He knows all the hotels. I need to change some currency. Go and see CK. Everything was, anyone who came over from the UK, go and ask CK because he's been living here. He knows people. Go and see him. You know what? He's the mayor of this place. Go and see the mayor. And it's stuck. So everywhere I walked, everyone would say, the mayor. And I was like, bro, what's going on? Because blah, blah sent me to you to ask for a job. I was the guy, you know what I'm saying? The king of Cabos, so to speak. And then what had happened is, every time I spoke, it got to a stage where, you know, everything I said was like the mayor had spoken and people would listen. And then it got to a stage, you know, near towards the end of summer, the actual mayor, which was an hour away's drive in Corfu town, had heard about this black guy, MC, who's the mayor in Cabos. And what had happened is, the mayor came down. He came down. The real mayor came down from Corfu town to Cabos to find me. He eventually found me in a club. We had a drink. And he said, oh my God, I've heard that you, MC, you are the mayor of Cabos. I am the real mayor of Corfu, but I have met you now. If I stop Parakalo. And it was absolutely surreal. That was before we had phone cameras and not where I could take pictures. It was absolutely surreal to know that the real mayor had actually come from Corfu town to find me and have a drink with me, the mayor of Cabos.
You know what? You did a really good accent there, and what people don't know here is that you can throw accents. Throw accents, CK. I've listened to some of them. Your Bajan accent is something to be contended.
All right, then. We're here speak. You want a coach? We're here on a coach. All right, then. Hey, sure, we don't laugh at me, you know. I do some licks, you know. All right, then. Right, so.
Easy.
Loving that. Even your was that a Greek accent? Was it Greek?
Yeah, Greek. Greek. Yes, because you know when you spend a lot of time in Greece, you learn to speak like the Greek people. You know because you're living there a long time. You understand? Yeah.
Say the word, CK. Say the word Greece again. Let me say it.
When you're in Greece, we're speaking, you know, like not like you're from Londino. You understand?
Zone it.
Oh,
my God. I could have you on here for another hour, but
let's bring it up. Let's forget, man. Let's bring it up.